What's up, guys, and welcome back to Footy with an Edge. I hope you all can hear me a little bit okay. Am I facing? Oh, that's the wrong. That's why. All right. Okay. I hope this is a little bit better now. But yeah, welcome back to Footy with an Edge. I'm your host, Shaylin, and today we're going to get a little bit deeper into some of the tactics that we saw Michael Carrick employ against Manchester City. But before we kind of go into that, I want to give, I kind of just want to do a pulse check a little bit. You know, it's been 7 days since I've started, covering and filling in for Andy. So, what is it that you guys, what you guys think? How am I doing? Give me some feedback. I know a lot of you guys give me, you know, positive feedback in the chat for sure. But like, what can I improve on? How can I make the show better for you? And I know that it's kind of funny. Sorry, I just heard myself for a second. But I know that in the comments on the videos, some of you guys were asking for a little bit more in-depth analysis. Now, before we kind of go into it, I do want to give a disclaimer. I am not nearly as good with the tactics as Andy is, or even some other guys like Samix or Jarvis from Tactical Devils. Both really good channels, and then also obviously Andy's content when he comes back as well. So I did take a lot of inspiration. I spent a lot of time trying to prepare and read through things. I'm not fully ready, but I think there's enough. I've even rewatched the game. I mean, this is the first time I've like rewatched a game, to be fair. Right? And I've never done that in the past. Like, once a result is done, it's done. I think the only games I've rewatched are like the like the old games, like the Champions League final in 07, 08, and then 99, obviously, right? So there's that. But I heard some of the comments, and just as a disclaimer, I can't share video, although I would like to. So what I've done is taken a bunch of screenshots of different frames and different moments, and that's kind of what we're gonna go down that path. And it's really interesting, right? Like when I did that, when I rewatched the game, there were things that I was picking up as I was listening to some of the other guys. There was things that I was also picking up too that I hadn't necessarily, I'll say noticed the first time. But why don't we just like dive right into it? And the way that I'm going to approach this is it's going to be sequential. Okay, so we're kind of just going to go down the timeline of what it is that I had seen in the game as I was rewatching it. So yeah, here's this first sequence, right, where we should have gotten a goal like right away, but Harry Maguire hits the post, and I really want you guys to focus in on how we're set up on the corners. By the way, I haven't had a chance to go through all the arrows and lines through it, so we'll see like as we get down. But as you can see here, I want you to notice where is Haaland and who is marking him here with Mainoo and Luke Shaw there, and then where's Maguire, and Semenyo is expected to mark him. Now, below here is in a really strategic spot. So as the corner comes in from Bruno, here's what we see really happening next, right? So the ball is launched in midair, and you can see that, well, I think it's right around here. But anyways, you can see that Harry Maguire charges in, and this is the position that he wants to get to, right over here, for him to be able to get that header, right, towards this far post, I'll say. Semenyo has to track Maguire because that's his man, right? And let's see, where has Kabi gone? Kabi has gone from where he was behind Haaland to right next to Donnarumma, but Shaw has stayed right here behind Erling Haaland. And when I said Dalot's in this strategic spot, you can see he is moving in to intercept Semenyo here. And in this next frame, you can kind of see just that, right? In this mix-up that's here, you see Semenyo, you see Shaw, you see Dalot, and then you also see Erling Haaland in this four-man tussle with an open Harry Maguire who can leap up into the air and do exactly what he does. And this is the point of when he's about to jump. So here you see Shaw has his arm wrapped around Holland to make it as difficult as possible for Holland to kind of get up and jump. Dalot has almost left Semenyo, right? Because he's got enough space. And Maguire is in a primed position to make an uncontested header towards that to the one that's going to eventually going to hit the post. You see Casemiro is in here as well, tussling a little bit. Uncle Cass is I think right there, as you can see, also eyeing the header. You see Shaw is taking a hit, or like is continuing to still press up and push up against Holland, making it difficult for him. But Harry Maguire is free, whereas Semenyo, who is supposed to be the one blocking him, isn't there. But this is really important, right? We saw our set piece routines get better this year, especially when under Amram, and now we're still seeing this trend kind of continue. And I'll show another example of this as we move forward. But this run from Maguire to go into this area where Shaw gives him the space, if you've seen the sequence, is really, really good. And by the way, there's my mouse saying hi to you guys because the way that I was, I guess, like moving it around. But that being said, this is kind of interesting. And Nightwing goes, Taylor probably calls a foul on Shaw if that went in. Maybe, right? He probably does. But Dalot only got a yellow, and I felt like later on a lot of calls that were kind of like a little bit mixed went City's way, especially with that Dalot one. But I didn't see any intent, and I think we were a little bit fortunate there that he didn't get that red card. Now, let's go on to the second thing that I kind of want to talk about here, which is really important and instrumental to how he had played. And this is how Rodri continued to get pressed. So here we're going to start off where the ball is in our half, right? And I believe this is Kusanov that is, that's pressing Rodri or has the ball here that's looking to pass it into Rodri. Now, let's take a closer look at where are our players positioned. So we have Mbeumo and Bruno right here. And we have Mainoo, Dorgu, I believe, and also Luke Shaw. Right? These three are here. I think this is Phil Foden that's here. And then this is Semenyo, right? So already you can see we have 5 to their 4. And this is what I mean, right? Carrick wants us to get kind of settled in our space or in our position before we really do anything. Now, Kabi's one job when he was playing, apart from being our relief pressure, was to also press Rodri. So you see Kusanov passes it here to Rodri. Rodri receives the ball, and immediately you see Kabi is going to jump and leap to close the distance and close the ground on him. But the way that Rodri receives the ball, he only really has one direction to go, which is back, right? Because that's where his vision is. So you see that he has not necessarily an option here in Ake, right? Because that's ruled out because Bruno's closing down that passing lane. But Mbeumo has left this lane open where he is allowed to pass back, or what he can do is give it back to Kusanov, where he just got the ball. Or maybe he goes back to Semenyo, but Dalot can leap right onto him. So even that's not necessarily the smartest one. And I wouldn't even say Kusanov or passing back to Kusanov is smart because Mbeumo is right there. So realistically, Rodri only has that one option. That's what you see. He goes back and passes it all the way back. So I believe it's Alieni, right? I mean, like number 68, guys, these are defenders that I didn't know. And I think that's probably where Pep Guardiola lost the game, is his initial lineup didn't respect us. So here you go. He passes it back to Max Alieni. And Max Alieni here receives the ball. And so now you can see where Kabi was close to him is now easing off in this area here. And so here we are looking to reset again, because you see Kabi is going to move back towards this position to kind of keep that line, that shape. In that, and we've been seeing, we've kind of been defending in this like 3-5-2 shape almost, right? With Bruno and Mbeumo being the highest pressers with this midfield line, with Casemiro, Kabi, Dorgu, Shaw, and Ahmad being like this mid 5, and then this back 3 with Licha, Maguire and Delo that's there. Now here's what happens after that. Once Aliani pushes up, this is what triggers Bruno to press him. So he wants to force him to make a pass or to make an option. Now let's look at what are the options that he's got. He can't really go back to Kusanov because Mbeumo is there. He could go to Ake. I think there's enough space, and if he was looking in that direction, that's probably where he would have went. But what does he see? He sees Rodri free, and this is intentional, right? We see Cobby giving him the space to go back because he wants to reset, ensures that Rodri's free. So he says, you know what? I like that. I'm going to pass it to Rodri. As soon as he wants to go pass it to him, Cobby realizes this and says, no, I'm not going to give you that option. And he goes ahead and jumps again to go press Rodri. But now Rodri is in a little bit more of a difficult position here. He's got Bruno right in front of him over here, and Mbeumo behind him, and Rodri coming in, or sorry, and Cobby coming in. So what can he realistically do? When he receives the ball, he knows that he has players to behind him, in front of him, and then off to his side as well. So you can see we have effectively completed the zonal press in a sense, right? Where we're taking control of this zone. So Rodri's only outlet here, if he doesn't want to pass back, is to go to Foden, who is right here. And because of the way that he's turning and because of his body shape, that's realistically the only option that he kind of has. So that this frame I showed you right here is kind of him controlling the ball. And then this is him making that pass right into, I believe this is Foden. And then you see Casemiro, good old Uncle Casemiro, who's right next to him, says, you know what? I've got an opportunity here. I'm going to jump and press. And this is all a coordinated effort in order to press. What we see from this then is Casemiro actually nicks the ball right here, and it ends up tripping Foden over, but he wins it cleanly because, right, a foul isn't necessarily called. And now you've effectively got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players that Ahmad is able to say, okay, let's go hunt, boys. Let's get on the counter. Uncle Cass is slow, so he's definitely not going to be part of the counter. I just wanted to circle him because he did a good thing, right? Like he won the ball here, ended up tripping Foden, which effectively takes him out. You don't see Foden coming back for any of the rest of the frames, but you see the Man City defense transitioning back, and they're in this diamond shape, which is not ideal. Semenyo ended up drifting all the way up here, whereas seconds before, he was much closer to that area where the ball was in play. And neither, I believe, I forget who this is, but neither Silva or shoot, is this Cherky? No, it's not Cherky. It's somebody else. Anyways, but neither of these two City players are actually available to do anything. Either End Holland is obviously not going to get involved because he's dishonest play. So once Ahmad starts running, we see Bruno going in this direction towards Ahmad. And what he wants to do is he wants to drag this defender with him here. If you don't know which one I'm talking about this guy. We'll put him in light blue because that's City's color, but he wants to drag him as well. And Ake is focused solely on the ball, right? That's where his vision is. That's where his eye is. He's focused solely on Ahmad. This guy has a bit of a half of a focus, I'd say. One on a bit on Bruno and then a bit on Ahmad. But he's going in that direction. And this is intentional from Bruno because what he wants to do, once you kind of see it here in this area, is that he swaps that position and Ahmad has the ability to be able to pass it to Bruno right here. And just to give you another angle of just how much space there is that Bruno has to be able to run into, you can see that right here. Whereas these two defenders are focused on what now? Just the ball. They've forgotten Bruno almost entirely in this position. So now what we've got is we've got this like 4v4, but it's kind of a really good situation for us because it's not like it's a one-to-one in that sense, right? Since Bruno is free and Patrick Dorgu all the way up to the top, bam. And you're right, Ed, right? If Ahmad had a right foot, he could have probably played Mbeumo on, but I don't think he was going to be able to. And here's what we see, right? Bruno's in this great crossing position, and Dorgu has this boatload of space to be able to run in, and so does Mbeumo. Mbeumo is able to tackle this space as well, right? Because why? All eyes are focused on now, where's this cross going to come into? And you can see Kabi as well. He is also trying to make in a run towards the box too, because he sees that there's an opportunity. All of the United players see that there's an opportunity and that there's blood. And here's where we kind of really see, the best of it. I was hoping that Mbeumo maybe stuck a head out or something like that and would have gotten it, but I guess it just wasn't in it for him to be able to get it. But we're all in pretty advantageous positions here. Also, see no Phil Foden anywhere to be seen. The City players are most behind us. I think it's only just Nico O'Reilly that's the furthest forward here. Or Kuznov, I forget who's who, because I don't know their numbers. But anyways, this is where we're at. And once Dorgu gets that shot, you know what happens. Unfortunately, doesn't necessarily count for us, but yeah, it was a really good sequence, and it started from this point right here when we decided that we are going to not give Rodri any room to breathe. And this was earlier on in the second half, in the first half too, right? And so this is intentional, and this is what I really loved to see from Carrick from a tactical standpoint is that he identified the one player that controls their midfield and said, you know what, he's not going to have a good day today, and Kabi was instrumental in doing that. I also want to give some more praises to Luke Shaw here, because I know that we talk about Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez doing a great job against Haaland, but Shaw was instrumental in keeping Haaland quiet as well. Here's a Manchester City corner that you kind of see, and I want you to look at the positioning and where it is that that folks are fighting. Patrick Dorgu is out here; he's fighting in the back. Kabi is clearly been tasked with marking Rodri this whole first half. He's over here fighting with him. I think Maguire is free in the sense, and so is Dallo. And then Martinez is over here, and he's being, his Argentinian pit bull self and already getting into a scrap to prevent a runner to come into the box. But we see here with Erling Haaland, who is in front of Lamens, and who is he, kind of getting hugged by? And that's right, Luke Shaw, boys. Ake gets this header because you can see, is kind of he's a free man that's here, that's running from this position all the way to that corner to be able to get it, to win it. He gets the header. This header is then going to bounce over to, I believe it's Kusanov. And then Kusanov is going to head this ball in. But you can see Luke Shaw has not given Haaland any room to breathe at all during the corner. He's still fighting with him over here once that first header comes in and once that second header is going in too. And I have no idea what it is that Erling Haaland is thinking of or trying to do, because when he is out here hoping that his robotic body is going to do some Android 18 style stuff and just kick the leg out or whatever, I don't know, and hit this ball that he's super far away from. I'm not really sure, but Lamens gets a hand on it and ends up saving that header from Kusanov that I think Haaland was hoping that he was going to tap in, just to show you just how far away he was. This is where the ball is. This is Haaland's foot. So he was trying to do something. I just don't know what it was. And Luke Shaw has done just a great job of now taking his hands off of Haaland to just be like, oh, look, I'm not touching you, or I haven't been messing with you or interfering with it. But this is the smart type of set piece tactical play. This is kind of like that aggressiveness I just want to see, that I love. And here is another angle where you can see Shaw, he's like, dude, I'm not touching you, man. Like, you're just bad. I don't know what you're doing. And is able to, prevent Haaland from getting anywhere close to that ball by just being a menace. And this is the type of menacing stuff that I want to see from our team. Here, I just wanted to show this because I think Leach has just amazing vision. It's just unfortunate that Bruno's offside. But man, what a ball he ended up playing. And also because I just wanted to show this face, because this is Bruno, guys. He doesn't look like he slept. He looks like he's torn. He's like, I'm carrying this team. I'm injured. I'm on my way back or whatever. And you guys call offside on what should have been a goal. Anyways, that is, I love that. This might end up getting memed, I guess. I'm not sure. But I love it. He looks like a dad who clearly just is having a rough time, and a player who's having a rough time carrying this United team, as he has been for quite a few years. But let's get into the next part. All right. This is the first goal for United. And here's where I really want to showcase kind of how a lot of this starts off, right? It's this. Whoops. Sorry, let me change the shape here. Yeah, this is what I was trying to do the whole time. While I was doing this thing, and I realized this is like really laborious in a sense to try to get to, but unfortunately I didn't give myself enough time. But this starts off with Harry Maguire winning this header. Again, uncontested, but winning this header. Now, I found it interesting that in the second half, Luke Shaw wasn't necessarily near Holland for this set piece. But anyways, let's see kind of what happens next. When he wins the header, we see the ball come here. Oh, whoops, sorry. Let me make sure I'm selecting the right thing. We see the ball come here, and I think what Mbeumo did was just a really brilliant bit of skill that set off this whole counterattack, if you may. Was dink it towards past past the defender over here, towards, I believe, Mbeumo's left side, and also in an area where Bruno had space to be able to run into too. So you see he beats the defender here, and instantly we are what? 1, 2, 3 against 1, 2 maybe, right? Probably I mean, I wouldn't regard him because he's already behind, but we're already in an advantageous position with 3 players of ours ready to counter. And then my boy, who I've been loving as of late seeing, Paddy Dorgu. I mean, did we really need to sign Semenyo? We had Dorgu, guys. I'm not sure if we need to sign him. Anyways, I might get slated for it in the chat or in the comments. But here you can see we have this 3v2, right? With where Bruno is in positions to do Bruno things in order to start this counterattack, right? And you can see Dorgu is already starting to get a little bit of space and distance from this back line here of where Semenyo and I think some of the other players that are there. So we're further down. You could see us in a kind of like a 4v2 or a 4v3 type situation, but we're in a 3v2, which is a man advantage. That's really simple. Don't need to go much further into that. And this is where Bruno has options, right? So if I'm Bruno, I've got now suddenly quite a few options, if I say so myself. You got Mbeumo here. You got Ahmad going that way. And you even got good old Paddy Dorgu as another option right here, who has done a great job of getting himself into a position and tracking back because of his physicality. I mean, this is why we got the kid, right? Because we knew he was immensely physical and would adapt physically well to the league. I think what we're seeing now is just him getting a lot better over time. But what does Bruno decide to do? He sees that now he has a gap. And this is because Mbeumo is smart in running in this direction and not in the other one, where he's kind of given himself where the 2 City players or the 2 City defenders are a little bit closer. Now, will we get this type of space against Arsenal or maybe defenders in this type of positioning? I don't think so. To be fair, if I am honest, like I think there's probably not going to necessarily be an option for us here. But because they're defenders, and this is what I meant earlier when Pep Guardiola lost with the starting lineup, because they are young and inexperienced, they're too close together here. And a player like Mbeumo is able to capitalize because what Bruno sees is now that there is an actual pass that's open to go this way. And that's all that Bruno needs. He doesn't need a lot of time, a lot of space. And this is another angle just to show you just the amount of space in the direction of what Bruno was seeing, because I love seeing it up top where do you see Bruno being able to go. And by the way, this is a replay from another angle. So if you see where this order your home shirt comes in, I just wanted you to keep that in mind. We're going to get to it in a bit. But yeah, what amazing space for a guy like Mbeumo to be able to run into. And then here's the just another angle for you to see like just how much of separation there is between this defender out here for, you know, and Semenyo, who is here. This guy's not even in the conversation anymore, right? I don't think he matters. You see all the other City players who have kind of just back here just like given up. They're in despair because they know what the big Bunda is going to do. And if you didn't see that clip earlier, Mbeumo gets the ball in a really advantageous position where he has a lot of space, takes a touch to get closer. Donnarumma doesn't really have much that he can do, I think, from a goalkeeping position. I think he just really just repositioned himself to be a little bit closer to Mbeumo, but I think he stepped back, which I don't know would have been the smart thing to do. But again, I'm not a goalkeeper, and I'm not really that well, like I'll say, like great with tactics. So I don't know if that's actually the right thing for him to do there. But anyways, Bruno Mbeumo shoots. The rest is history. And then when I'm watching the replay, of course, they put in this order your home shirt now as soon as Mbeumo scores, because so they want to do. That's marketing for you folks. The Glazers continue to continue to be a PR club, I guess, or make us be a PR club. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into the second goal, and this one is not tactics. I don't know if this is, and maybe some of you guys in the chat can be like telling me afterwards. Oh yeah, thanks, Nelson. I'm trying to like be a little bit moving around, but let's see. But yeah, I'm going to pause it here for just a second because one, I need not necessarily a break. I just need to, bring a homie on because I want to talk to him too. So Meeks, I know I'm not as good as you.
Yo, what's up?
I think you've been watching for a little bit. How you think I did? Give me a score. Give me like, a 1 out of 10, man.
No, you did good, man. You did good. Don't make me rate it. Like that's
Okay.
that's tough then, because I'm always like, wait, is what's too much? What's too little? Don't make me rate it. Just let me say that it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
You touched on a lot of good points. I think we have to really take into account that the guy only had 3 days with them.
Yeah.
Right? 2 or 3 days. I can't even remember. That's why I paused there for a second. I think it might have even been 2 on the training ground. So I think that if you have 2 days with the team, the only thing you're going to work on necessarily is you're going to do some rondos to warm up and everything. But honestly, tactically, you're just going to work on spacing, right? Positionally, what you want from them. Out of possession, especially if you only have 2 days, you're not going to talk much about possession. Other than key things like, hey, you're going to play out here and you're going to play out here, but you're not going to talk about patterns and routines in possession. You're going to talk about the movement and the spacing out of possession. Can you hear me? I don't know. Sorry,
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that Carrick did so well was control space and make space very limited. I think in the first 7 to 12 minutes, we were pressing. And honestly, in the first 3 minutes, we were like winning the ball back pressing in the first like 3 or 5 minutes. But then Man City started dropping players back, like Rodri and Bernardo Silva would start to come back. And it just became too much for us because Kobe would go. But then after Kobe, when Rodri went back, Kobe chased them back. When Bernardo Silva started coming back, dropping back to get the ball, we ran out of like wanting to risk sending more players forward. And they started walking through our press after about somewhere between the 7th minute and 12th minute, our press stopped working. But that's basically Pep Guardiola masterclass of going, okay, no problem. We'll start bringing more players back. But even though our press stopped working, because they were pulling more players back to have like a numbers advantage so they could go through our press, but that meant less players forward for them. So even though they were walking through our press, they really had nothing. Once they got to the middle of the pitch, it was clogged up by us. So I think Carrick and the players were right to not press their luck. And then in the second half, right towards the end of the first half, you could see the press kind of like non-existent. And in the second half, I think it really wasn't existent unless we started in a mid block mid to low block. And the only time we pressed was when a pressing trigger was there. As soon as they passed backwards, or they went, when Rodri passed back into a center back, then someone like Mainoo would jump, or Bruno would jump, or somebody would jump, and we go back into pressing. So having that kind of discipline and seeing what Carrick was able to command from them in 2 days was really impressive to me. But also, like, seeing how our players played better when they're in tighter spaces, when we took away space, also made me realize that our players were not the right fit for a Ruben Amorim system.
Mhm.
Because in Ruben's system, it was a lot wider, it was a lot more man-to-man, and this was a little more zonal, what was going on with Carrick. And I think we were better. Like, our players are better suited for that kind of.
If I may ask,
Yeah.
a lot of people said that this was kind of a much more simpler game for the team to be able to play. How much do you agree with that? Right? Because I didn't feel like it was any simpler.
I don't like discounting I don't like discounting a win like that. It just feels, was it simpler? In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not simple to watch your okay. Anytime the ball went out wide, we would double team out wide. So you would see Ahmad run over there and help the low out with what's his name? The winger they have that's really good. Doku? Yeah. Ahmad would go out there and double team with him. And then you would see, like, if he touched the ball more than 2 or 3 times, Doku, Casemiro would be over there too. But is it simpler? No, because if Man City was able to make 3 passes and switch it to the other side, our whole team has to shift. Man City wasn't that good that day because our middle, when the pass started going around, Bruno was in great position to kind of, Mbeumo and Bruno were doing a pretty good job slowing that switch down. So does it look simple when we watch it as viewers? Yes. But is the work that they had to do simple? No. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, in possession, it was simpler. So if that's what they're talking about, yes, I agree. Out of possession, I'm not going to call that simple. But if we're going to say in possession it was simple, I will also argue that I didn't know our players were capable of such precise short passing rondos that we did on Man City at least 3 or 4 different times. It wasn't once. It wasn't twice. There was 3 or 4 different times where we passed in tight spaces and we kept the ball. What made Man City look like a bunch of high school kids running back and forth trying to get the ball off of us. And honestly, that's not, first of all, I didn't even know we were capable of that. Like, I didn't know you know how many times I've seen our players miss 5-yard passes?
I know. It's been like shocking to see this, at least, right? It's like, whoa, hold up. Like, what's going on here?
That's what confidence does, though.
Yeah.
When the rest of the plan is working, other things start working too. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, when the team starts going like, wait a minute, did they just only have 1 lousy shot on target for the whole first half? Like, I'm sure in the locker room, that's what Carrick was talking about. If he wasn't, that's crazy. I would be in the locker room going like, guys, they got 1 lousy shot on target that was going like 1 mile an hour. Like, any goal, a high school goalkeeper could have saved that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's all they got. You just held Man City to 1 shitty shot on target. I mean, you got to come out the second half and be like, well, if you guys can't even get shots on target, we're going to win this game. And when you start believing, good things happen. Belief is, and I don't think we had it with Ruben. And guys, like, anybody watching this, I was the biggest pro Ruben Amorim guy. Yeah. So this isn't a Ruben hater saying that. I just think that there was something about our confidence that I really enjoyed watching in that game against City.
Yeah. I will say this, right? Because I think we've got quite a few things to look forward to inside of the Arsenal game, because we can probably make maybe a similar or play a similar style of game, especially from what we've seen. But are you afraid that this result can be a bit of a red herring for us moving in the future of kind of how we've
as opposed to what, like, we should have drawn or lost? Would that have been better? Like,
no, just in terms of how we're going to actually play under Carrick, because this isn't.
I don't know how
emblematic
we're
of.
gonna play under Carrick in possession. I don't think anybody knows. I don't even think players on the team know, right? And we won't find out in the Arsenal game either, because even that's too short notice. I think from now till the Arsenal game, he's got a little bit more organizing to do out of possession, because some things, especially in our pressing out of possession, we can't go on not pressing and just playing in a mid block all the time. So he's got to figure that out. Like, because now Arsenal has a blueprint from Man City. All they have to do is watch Man City's first 20 minutes and they'll learn how to break the press as we presented it on that day. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Carrick needs to solve that problem. And that's probably going to take like 2-3 training sessions. I don't know how much offensive work we're going to do, especially because we're also going to be thinking Arsenal, just like City, are going to have the lion's share of the ball. Probably. Let's just let reality, but if you think otherwise, you're going to probably be disappointed. I think Arsenal will have more than the lion's share of possession, and we need to figure out a better way to press by then.
Okay.
Because you know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. If we can't, and we find out Arsenal can walk through our press too, then we go into our mid block like we did, and we wait for a pressing trigger like we did with City, which was okay too. I'm not complaining, but a good manager will always try to solve a problem, right? Like, you don't go, oh, well, that's a problem, let's just abandon it.
Valid, but I think I have maybe like one more question for you on the way that we were creating chances and just the way that we were creating some of these goals. And, that first goal was very much, hey, that was an intentional press from our side to be able to get, okay, hey, we want to get that win that ball back. And then the second one kind of felt more like, this is what we bought Cunha for, because he kind of created that goal almost out of nowhere in my mind.
Now,
if that was the case,
a Ruben fan, my first thing that I said when that goal went in is that's a Ruben Amorim goal. Like, you drive it to the end line and you make the cutback cross, and you have someone making a diagonal run across across the defender and tap it in. That was vintage Ruben Amorim. I don't know how much that had to do with any new thing. And there were like the ways we passed out of press were also, we were receiving the ball by running into those spaces right by the half circle. Also vintage Ruben Amorim. Not that Carrick doesn't do that. Maybe Carrick does do that. I don't know enough about Carrick to say that.
There could still just be some muscle memory. I'm pretty sure there is, right?
Correct. That's what I think. There were a lot of things that I saw that are honestly like, and I don't mind that. Like, I don't mind if we have a mixture, because a mixture might be the best way to go forward. Because not everything was working in the past, right? Especially out of possession. We really suffocated them of space. Like, I was talking to Ed a little bit earlier, and even Ed was like telling me, like, make sure you bring up how we didn't give them any space to work or operate in the middle of the pitch, and how we had like 2 right backs and 2 left backs. And in some ways, we did have 2 right backs and 2 left backs playing, right? Like,
Luke Shaw, Patrick Dorgu, right? Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Yeah. So in 2 ways, in some ways, like when Shirky got the ball, you had 2 left backs on you. When Doku got the ball, you had 2 right backs on him. And then in the middle of the pitch, if you realize the spacing between Casemiro and Maguire, Mainoo and Licha, they were very tight, which is great. I don't know why we haven't done that. I don't even know why we didn't do that like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago. That was something that was missing before. So there are some things that Carrick's already done in 2 or 3 days that I wish was already there from before. And there are some things that you can see the build-up pattern that was still there from Amorim's time, where you're like, yeah, that's also good. Let's keep that. Like, let's not throw that away.
Yeah. No, I think it begets an interesting point in my mind, because as we kind of like transition more over these like 16 games that are like remaining, of what is it that we're looking to see from maybe a playing perspective, does that inform us more of what like the club's ownership kind of really want us to go down? And I'm going to bring on, I think this guy. I hope you know this guy.
And
And
turn your camera on, man.
and Ray as well. So,
Apologies,
but yeah,
not at the moment.
Okay. All right.
I'm still
All right,
working. That's why. Okay.
Oh. Make sure they land. Make sure they land safely.
Ray, how you doing, man? It's been a minute.
Doing well, man.
Good.
You guys hear me?
Yeah. You're just fine.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really good weekend. Simics, I really liked your watch along. I was there the entire time. That was a lot of fun.
By the way, wait, pause, Ray. I'm loving this walk videos. Can I just because I don't know if
Seriously?
you first, yeah, so for those of you guys who are who don't follow Simics, right? Like subscribe. He's a really cool dude. And if you haven't, try and see if you can't get a membership, because he goes on these walks where he kind of just like talks, and I feel like it's an unfiltered version of Simic. And sometimes it's like very profound, but at other times I just like look at you and I'm just like, oh, I can kind of tell you're just a little bit uncomfortable because you're like, I got camera in my face. So I'm just,
my God, dude,
out in public.
you don't even know how many. Dude, some dude was laughing at me the first time I did it.
Yeah.
Like some dude with cut off sleeves, like buff guy who's just out for a jog. He jogs by me and I'm wearing a fucking sweater because I'm cold, and he's just, half naked running. And he looks at me and he sees and he goes, and I'm like, Dick, if you were smaller, I'd kick your ass.
Love that.
Those
Nelson, how are
walk-alongs
you?
are fun, man, because
Yeah.
sometimes he pans to what he's walking through, but you still have the voiceover. It's very nice.
I'm
Nice.
still trying to figure that out. Like, I'm working on it. I promise it'll be better by the 5th or 6th episode. I'm only 2 episodes in, but every time I do it and I edit it, I go, oh, I should have done this and I should have done that, and I'll do it for the next ones. Yeah, so thank you, man. I really do appreciate you saying that, because I always feel a little silly when I'm doing those.
Yeah. Nelson, how are you? How are you doing? It's been a minute since we talked too.
I'm good. Yeah. It's been a while. I'm boys. If we're talking about the Arsenal game next, I think you're going to be shocked by what I'm about to say. By the way.
Okay.
But
3-0, we win.
No, we're winning. By the way, just so you know.
Can I say I actually agree with Nelson? Like, I watched the game again today, the City game, and I'm going like, if we are that tight, Arsenal's not that good at creating chances.
No.
They really aren't. They're good at holding the ball, but they're not good at creating chances.
The corners are going to be an issue. I think
that's what I was going to ask you, Nelson. Talk to me about dead balls.
I think that this is going to be the biggest test for Carrick in terms of set piece. Because if you remember,
I think Maguire is playing again. I think it'll be Maguire Licha again. I think you'll see the same back line.
And I think Šeško has to start. You'll see Šeško start. And there's a reason why.
A lot of height.
He has height.
So you think we go from no minutes for Šeško to a starting position for Šeško?
I think the reason why Šeško didn't play is we were winning. I think if we were let's say not losing, but if Mbeumo doesn't score the chance, I think you see Šeško come in.
Just remember, this guy played under Fergie, right?
Yeah, but what do you think it does for Cunha's mentality to come on and create that assist and do? I don't know if you remember the slide tackle Cunha put on the block and what do you think it does to somebody who came on and definitely gave you all heart for whatever minutes he got to only see another younger guy who didn't even play a single minute get a start, and he's going to be on the bench again? Here's
what I love. He looked at Cunha and saw Cunha as either a 9 or a 10. That's all. That's at the very least this game, that one game. I don't think Cunha helps us against Arsenal unless he comes off the bench.
Like, I got to tell you, the first game of the season, Cunha was great against Arsenal.
Yeah, we didn't score.
You're right.
And that's
guys. He was really happy with Cunha. I mean, if you can't tell by his
no. Yeah. Cunha, that one, let's be honest, robbed of an assist. Like that just was a perfect ball to mount. Should have had that assist. But the reason why I think we will need to play Šeško is, unlike Man City that didn't have that, even though they have Haaland, they didn't have an aerial threat against us. Against Arsenal, every single one of those guys are 6'2+ giants.
Only on free kicks, though. Like, Gyökeres is no aerial threat. You're only talking about their defenders coming forward for a corner.
Yeah, and not just that. The type of like Rice's ability to whip the ball is, well, I'm not going to lie, Beckham-esque. It is ridiculous.
No, please.
It is, boys. We just have to accept it. We just have to accept it.
No.
Rice is disgusting at set pieces.
He's good, but don't say Beckham-esque.
No, like, it is. Like, how many times do you see a guy ping the ball the exact same place on a corner kick? Every time. And by the way, without those corner kicks, they're not as dangerous. And it's just not corner kicks. Free kicks is going to be an issue with them. Long balls is going to be an issue with them. Every single type of set piece is going to be an issue.
So Dorgu starts at left wing for you again with Shaw back at left back?
Has to. Come on,
we can Dorgu at left back so he can take on Saka.
Dorgu and Ahmad have to play.
Yeah, they have to.
Is this not a good problem to have, though?
Yeah, it's a brilliant. Right. This is what you want a coach who actually adjusts. Yeah.
I think the back line has to stay unchanged. I think Dorgu and Ahmad have to. I almost think the whole team picks itself except for maybe Mbeumo.
Yeah, that's the only guy. I know because it wouldn't play well. It's just we're gonna get dominated in the air. We gave
for 13 back. No.
No,
right back?
No.
I think so.
Not too early.
No, yeah, no.
Maz just came from one of the worst finals he's ever seen.
I'm not a big Diogo Dalot fan, but I don't think Maz helps us as much as Dalot does, like in physicality. And Arsenal's a physical team.
Guys, what do you think about this chat from Mr. Reynoso? Where he says Cunha focuses on creating like he did or if he focuses on creating like he did for that goal, then his goals will come. But he seems to have an itch to get goals, and it's negatively affecting his results.
It might be what Carrick sat down and talked to him about. It might be Carrick saying like, "Hey man, I know you're having a hard time scoring goals. Why don't you turn provider?" Because he provided for Mount too. Like Nelson was saying, honestly, Ahmad needed to release that ball one touch earlier, and that is a good goal. That's not offside. Ahmad took one extra touch. That's what killed that. And he would have had 2 assists.
This is why I kind of wanted to bring it back. Like, do you think that maybe because Sir Alex had the tendency too, right? Where he would just go talk to a player and be like, look, I don't think you're right for this game, but for the next game, you will be. Do you think that's something that he might have said to Šeško and was just like, hey,
he might. Now he's got to talk to Cunha, right? If he's going to do it again, he needs to tell Cunha, like, hey, man, like, the next game you're starting, but you're not starting. You know, you're going to be on the bench again this game, and I'm going to need you in the second half.
Do you almost want, like, 2 guys, like you know, with that high energy or that intensity, and, like, Bruno and Cunha to kind of play maybe over an Mbeumo, and maybe even over like an Ahmad, just to give us more fight, because it's at the Emirates, it's away, and
so Nelson Sesko starts and Brian sits.
Brian sits.
Okay,
and it's because like we give up. I don't know if you guys checked the stats, but we gave City like a few set pieces, and the problem is Arsenal. You give Arsenal the same number, that's an issue, because the threat comes. Their biggest threat is set pieces. There are multiple times they play for it. And we just
so annoying.
Yeah, we match up poorly. And here's the thing, like Šeško, for as good as Mbeumo was, and his work rate is amazing, don't get me wrong. It's one of the reasons we won that game. But it's not like Šeško doesn't have work rate. Like Šeško can press. And the press he's gonna have is against, remember, they build up in like a 1-1-5 something. Like Arsenal's build up is nuts. Most of the times it's one defender sat back. If you put Šeško with a Gabriel or Saliba, I take my chances with that. But if you tell me Mbeumo versus those two, I'm not 100%. Šeško, I am.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna bring on 2 more folks, Hoff and Roberto. Unless you guys were just here only to listen and not necessarily participate. But how are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. I think like everyone excited at what we saw. Excited to see the next game to kind of hopefully draw some more conclusions. I did want to mention one thing. I don't think Arsenal cedes as much space in between the lines from the defense to the midfield. Whereas City only sat Rodri, and then there was like this huge space that we could attack, which that's what we were aiming our counters at. I don't think Arsenal makes that mistake. I think Arteta has seen that now, kind of like what Semix was saying. He's seen what we're aiming to do, and he'll have stuff ready for it. So it'll be interesting to see how Carrick also adjusts what he's looking for from us.
I think, maybe Hoff should speak first.
Gentlemen, as always, Nelson, thank you. How's it going, guys? Look, I agree to a degree with some of the things Roberto was saying, and also Samix earlier when he was saying that they couldn't turn on the back foot and get across the lines. I think we actually got let off the hook a few times by Cherky's inexperience, to be honest. So I was watching him a lot of the game because I feel like he's the guy that can just switch it on for them. He had that back heel into the right channel. I feel like with him, you were seeing him get so eager to come onto the ball, where what you would see in the City of old is you would see someone like Bernardo Silva give the ball deep to someone like Fernandinho or Rodri, and then he would kind of try and break down the 4-4-2 low block that we had. So he would kind of go in between the lines of the centre back and the wing back, and then create a 2v1 on the wing back. And then they would try and like lazily bring the ball around until someone jumped on the press, pass it into Bernardo, create the 2v1, and then flick off that. That's usually how City play in that kind of low block breakdown. We've seen them for years. So I think as much as we played phenomenally, we dominated them in every aspect, I think they allowed us to do that, and they didn't give us many problems, and then our confidence grew as theirs declined. Because as United fans, like the first thing that happens as soon as the ball breaks the lines, we just all go collectively just gasp. I'm like, oh shit, it's happening again. But I don't think they gave us enough times to break the confidence early enough in the game. They just let us grow, kind of similarly to how we let every team grow on us.
Yep.
So I think the thing with Arsenal that we really need to be careful of is going into the game expecting the same result from the same performance we gave. I think that's a bit of a thing we have to think of, because I think we can give the exact same performance that we did against City, but instead of it being an 8 out of 10 because it's Arsenal, it'll end up being a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 just because of the way they structure themselves and the way they counter our stuff. But all in all, I think we can get the win. I really think we can. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be very happy if they give that type of performance. Like, even if the goals aren't coming, if they give that type of performance again against 2 weeks in a row against really the top 2 teams in the league, that's a good sign for the rest of the 16 games. Because if they can keep that intensity up and can against the 2 best teams, that shows a lot of promise for the rest of the season and hopefully getting into the top 5 Champions League.
Hey man, is Carrick about to get his back-to-back wins in his first 2 games? Is that what's about to happen, guys? We waited a long time for that while we were suffering, but these back-to-back wins would be sweet and quick, man.
But also, like, they seem to struggle, just like every team. They play Inter tomorrow, I think. So if they're playing Inter, which is going to be a tough game for them, and then they play us, they wouldn't be as fresh. The reason why they played poorly against Nottingham Forest was they did have players who weren't fresh. And if you look at the games they've lost against, they drew with Chelsea when Chelsea had 1 man down. Chelsea lost, what's his name? Caicedo, their best defensive midfielder. So we can definitely beat these guys. Maresca actually played fairly well against these guys. If we played a similar style to how we played against City, stifle the midfield, they do not have creativity. Odegaard is garbage. Rice is the only guy.
The wingers are worse than City's wingers.
100%.
Do we agree?
Yeah. Saka's the only one I'm afraid of.
And listen, as long as he keeps not playing Eze, the happier I am. I don't know why he's being an idiot and not playing Eze, because I think Eze is his best winger.
The longer he plays Gyökeres too, the happier I get.
Yeah. So as long as he keeps making the same freaking lineup decisions that he's been making, we're gonna force the ball out wide like we did with City, and I'll take my chances against Saka and Trossard or whoever he throws out, or Martinelli. I'll take my chances with them because they're not as good as what we just faced.
I just don't like Trossard versus Dallo.
No, but it's going to be Trossard versus Dallo and Ahmad. It's not just going to be. We're going to double team out wide like we did with City.
If I may, does Arteta maybe change it up looking at the way that Pep played against us? And I forgot to mention it earlier, but I thought the two wingers that he had, like having both Doku and a Semenyo, seemed a little bit like a mistake. I don't know why he didn't start Tijani Reinders. I don't know how you say his name.
Reinders.
Yeah, but why he didn't start him on one of those sides, because I felt like he probably offers you maybe a little bit something different. And as I've seen it before, that three right behind Holland is pretty fluid in the terms of how they move around. So does Arteta go to that and just go, hey, maybe I don't start a Martinelli. Maybe it is like a different player. Or
I think Pep's tactical decision was he looked at our team and said, our team struggles with 1v1s, and they have 1v1 monsters in every single attacking slot.
Yeah.
So the problem was, because we didn't give them space, they couldn't do anything.
He didn't get a 1v1 because we were. No. The one thing maybe we didn't talk about enough is we talked about how we were compact from midfield to center back. Like I was talking about, Casemiro was really close to Maguire. Mainoo was really close to Licha, right? But the other thing we didn't talk about is we were also compact horizontally.
Yeah.
We were giving them out wide. And then when they got the ball, then we'd go double team. But we gave them the space. If you watch our team shape in that game, it was a lot more compact than what we were doing a month ago with Ruben, horizontally and vertically. We were basically making the pitch very small. And honestly, though, like if I was Pep, I probably would have played the same way. I would have said, okay, these guys want the pitch to be small. I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to put two wide wingers out there. But their wingers sucked. Like they didn't. The only reason why they suck, Shaylin, to explain it in better terms, is when a team is playing as compact as we were, their job was to threaten out wide so that we shift over there, and then as quick as possibly switch it to the other side. And they never did that. Catch us trying to shift again. You get what I'm saying? And space, and they never did. They were not able to do that. But they were not able to do that, number one, because their quality wasn't that good, but also because Bruno and Mbeumo and I would say Casemiro's positioning when they were trying to switch was really good, forcing them to take an extra touch or go backwards.
Yeah, I felt like at times we were like getting them to play the pass that we wanted them to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For the first time in years.
Yeah.
For the first time, we didn't even do it during the Ten Hag days, for sure. Yeah. Like this has been a while since we've been that compact, but also that smart in forcing the ball where we want it to go.
And even then, on top of that, it's funny that you say that, Samix. Funnily enough, it actually worked out so much in our favor, because what ended up happening was we were obviously playing the 4-4-2 out of shape, right? Out of possession. And then what would happen is Mainoo was basically playing that Ander Herrera Hazard role where he was just chasing Rodri around the whole time. So Carrick had a bit of a tactical genius stroke, master stroke actually, sorry, shows my intelligence. Rodri would drop into that deep six area, and then Mainoo would be the one to push onto him, and then the wingers would tuck in on the left and right side to create a three. So inadvertently, we ended up playing a diamond in the midfield, a 4-3-1-2 almost. And then because the strikers were so hardworking and Bruno would push up, you'd have this like cone where basically the left striker and the right striker would cover the entirety of the left and right flank. Mainoo's covering Rodri, and as soon as the ball gets shifted out wide, you have these hyenas on the wing of Dorgu and Ahmad just chasing them down. And then you would have Mainoo drop into midfield again because Rodri inadvertently is kind of trying to come up the pitch. So it's like the whole way the team was set up and their roles literally nullified everything.
Hoff just brought up something that reminded me of another stat that I didn't even bring up. So when these things happen where you're playing this dense horizontally and then the ball goes out wide. He brought up Dorgu and Ahmad were running like hyenas because that's what you have to do. As soon as it goes out wide, then you got to shift over there, and the guy out wide has to get there first, right? Guys, when you look at the stats, the sprinting stats, Dorgu and Ahmad had 27 and 30 sprints in that game. One of them had 27 and one of them had 30. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like a normal count would be somewhere between 12 and 18. It's not 27 and 30.
I don't think I would ever see that number, even that normal one under Rashford Garnacho. I'm being honest, like, right, that wasn't they were not sprinting defensively for sure. But sorry, I cut Roberto off, I think.
Yeah, also like just to add, Hoff, like I was gonna make the exact same point, but also something interesting that we saw as well was Ahmad. We were talking about like forcing them to make the pass we wanted to. There were times where we were almost pressing in like a 4-3-3 shape, but Ahmad was kind of cutting off the space between their left center back and their right winger. So he was occupying that space, making like a curved run, and we were forcing them exactly where we wanted to go. And I thought it was really, really interesting how fluid that was. And then like you said, Dorgu and Ahmad making a midfield three at times as well. It was nice to see.
Yeah, spot on. Even with the sprint stat, it's probably due to the shorter sprints. So before, because during Ten Hag, there was so much space in the midfield. It was back and forth, up and down. You'd go from the middle of our third to the end of their third. The sprints that Ahmad and Dorgu were making are probably 15-yard sprints, 12-yard sprints to close someone down. So it shows that they could probably make way more of those sprints because it was so much more compact, because there was less area to sprint.
That's very smart. That's smarter than me. That's very good. And you're probably right. I've never even thought of it that way.
Flair to it, man. Don't worry.
but even when you look at, I know Ryan's gonna kill me for this, but if you look at Kobe's running stats, he ran the hardest he's ever run.
17 Ks or something.
Like People keep. I've been seeing this like dialogue, and I don't want to bring this up because I know this is like an argument for some people. But Kobe played amazing, and if he plays like that,
really good.
Yeah, and if he plays anywhere near that level again against Arsenal, it guarantees us a win.
But I'm going to say something like
that midfield is not good enough.
To Hoff's point, if you've played a sport, if all I have to do is sprint for like 15 steps and then I can get a breather, and then sprint another 15 steps and I can get a breather, I'm going to sprint more often than if I have to run 40 steps.
Yeah.
Then my breather is going to have to be longer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be able to sprint after a minute. I'm going to need like 3, 4, 5 minutes to recover
as well. So you're more encouraged to run, as well.
Can I just say that compared to last week's, pre-game streams that we had, we are a lot more optimistic and like excited for these games. I think in the next coming weeks. I think especially against Arsenal. I remember, was it you, Shaylin, who said that if we get 1 point for these next 2 games, so long as we see something, that would be a good. But we already have the 3 points, and I think having that in the bag and actually seeing that Carrick was able to control the game without possession, and it seemed like it was like there was a plan and there was something that they wanted to get done for that game is really refreshing to have, especially after all the down stuff that we've had for November and December. So I'm really excited about this game. They may not win, but at least at this point we can figure out how Carrick actually is going to do. And I really hope these guys continue their intensity from this City game, because that intensity was really, really fun to watch at 4:30 in the freaking morning here in California.
3:30 in Sydney, man.
I wanted to call something out as well. Nelson, I remember the pregame when we were talking about who we expected Carrick to have an influence on, or if he was going to improve one player, who would it be? And both of you and I had talked about Mainoo, and kind of like we were excited to see what he would do under Carrick. Never in a million years did I honestly think Mainoo was going to start, I'll be honest. But it's interesting to see. We knew he had the composure, but the discipline with what he played his role, because he did sit and he did he did press Rodri, but he was so quick to recognize when he needed to step back and get into position and keep that line. And I'm telling you guys, if he can pick up some more tips and he's willing to learn from Carrick, I could see Carrick. I mean, I could see Cobby really dictating our games from deep. Like, I'm excited. I liked to see that improvement.
Plus, it was worth it for that feint on Semenyo.
Oh, dude.
But the best part about that feint, can I say the best part about that feint was like the 6 passes before?
Yeah, the rondo on the sideline.
Rondo before, like for me, that was more impressive. Because I need to see that 2 or 3 more times in the Arsenal game, because what that does to another team is really defeat their spirit. Like, to have another team's players just chasing the ball around and not being able to get it, and then they just stop running.
Turkey
gave
up, you as well.
Right. You need those moments. That's what freaking City's so good at doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We did it to them where we're like, yeah, go ahead, run around like an idiot. You're not
in
getting
the second half. The second half, they did it right in front of Pep, which was fun too. And then I remember like on that rondo, and then it went out. I think it went out to Bruno, and he kept moving forward. You just saw like 3 players from City just go, the shoulders just slumped because they were just like reaching for 4 passes in a row. It's great.
Yeah, I think
they always say the greatest team in history was that Barcelona team, right? That Pep Guardiola Barcelona team. The thing they did so well was exactly that.
Yeah.
You would in the Champions League final, they made our players chase the ball around. We couldn't get the ball back because all their little rondos they would set up like everywhere.
Yeah, that was fun. Those rondos were so much fun. I think I remember in your streams, like people were just like, "Oh, look at that rondo! Wow, I don't think I've seen that in like 2 years." So that was great.
It's crazy how we went from. Yeah, I don't want to. Apparently he's he who must not be named now, but we couldn't string like 3 or 4 passes together. It seemed in quick succession.
I felt like I saw that under Ten Hag too, right? Like it just never.
Yeah, but I don't want to say it's because the manager didn't believe me. Carrick didn't just go in and teach them how to pass.
No,
in 2 days. Like this had to do with belief. This had to do with confidence. This had to do with it's a feeling. It's like you get in the zone, right? And your teammates in the zone with you, and you're just giving it to each other, and you're playing, you're having fun. Whereas I think there was a lot too much stress and tension and disbelief a month ago, right? Here we go again. We're screwing it up again. You know what I mean? When
there's one question I want to
they can't even get a shot off.
Yeah.
Like literally, City couldn't get a shot off.
I thought Martinez was too small.
Oh, did you hear what he said today?
Oh man, I was so upset. They just don't have any ability to take we were wrong.
Are we like reading each other's minds here or something? Like Nelson segued into something I wanted to talk about earlier. Ray, you're doing it now. I love that. No, but continue. I'm sorry.
I can't believe that the way that they just did it. Like it would have been so easy for them to say, "Oh man, we overstepped. It was really personal." But what we were saying was, physically, Haaland is imposing. He's the best center forward in the league and leads the league in goals because of his size. But what you said was, I'm so worried about that because he's just going to pick him up and walk him through the box and then score a goal and then throw him into the net. That is a personal thing. And then they double down today.
What's really funny about that?
Yeah, I know Hoff. Okay, let Hoff go because I was about to say that. You're about to say the Lisandro stat when it comes against Haaland.
So I'm actually going to say something completely different. So I'll let you say the stat and I'll go after. Okay, so
Lisandro, every time Lisandro faces Haaland, I think 6 out of 7 times we've won, by the way.
Yeah. So it was 6 out of 7 where Haaland had not scored. The one game he did score, it was a hat trick.
Yes.
But now it's like, well, this was the 8th game, I think. So technically it's just 1 out of 8 games where he scored a goal against Lisandro.
Yeah. But Lisandro dominates him primarily because of how he plays him. Like he is so aggressive. Like
and proactive.
Like very doesn't let him take a step. The moment Haaland does that, Haaland is insanely good at finding space.
Yep.
And you notice that Lisandro being one of our most intelligent, he is our most intelligent defender. So when Lisandro notices he's making a move, he immediately either shouts at someone or moves there immediately. Doesn't give him any time of space.
He did that on that block with Holland, his only shot, really, where he slowed down. He saw it, like, and I think we all saw it. We're like, oh, he's got it, no problem.
Yeah. Sorry, Hoff, go on.
Guys. Oh no, Hoff, go ahead, and then I'll ask my last question for you.
No, you're all good. So what I was going to say was something actually probably a bit of a different take, not based off stats or anything like that, but in terms of the comments from Scholes and Nicky Butt specifically, I think, look, the thing is, right, these days everyone has a microphone, right? Evidently, there's 6 people in this call. We all have a microphone now. Dude, exactly, right? So we're all giving our opinions in X, Y, and Z. But I think the difference between us and the generation prior, or people that are a little older, they see them as 2 different things. Back in the day in Scholes' time and Butt's time, it was 2 things: traditional media, or there was radio. That's pretty much all there was, right? So I think for them, they almost don't realize the gravity of the words they're using, because where they are, they're in a living room with Nicky Butt and Scholes. Have known each other for probably like 20, 30, 40 years. They're just a couple of mates shooting the shit, excuse my language. And then they've got a comedian on the pod with them. So when they say these things, it's almost like 2 guys in a bar that are just talking shit and just saying things that fans would say. I don't think they actually understand the gravity of what they're saying and the platform they have, because when they were playing, the only time that anyone would ever criticize them was on a match of the day or on an analysis show. Whereas they almost, for some reason, can't get through their head that you have this massive reach and you have this massive respect from the fan base, that people will automatically respect you for your opinions, even if your tactical understanding is terrible, you know? Like, so I think that's also a thing that we have to think about, is these guys are in their 50s. These guys in their 50s, and they're like older guys that don't really probably understand the gravity of the words that they're saying. And Samix, I see you're smirking. I'm not lumping you in with Paul Scholes, all right? You're all right.
I'm not in my 50s.
Right?
I'm getting close.
Finally get on, Hoff.
I'm not. No, all I want to say, Hoff, was that, like, I don't really give a fuck what they think or what they don't think. If they're in a bar and they talk that shit, they need to be punched in the mouth. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't care if they're in a bar. Like, you don't say that stuff about a guy, call him little and not physical enough, and then say, like, oh, he asked me to come over to his house and knock on his door. I'm 50 years old. I'm not going to go to his house and knock on his door, because that's what he said today. And I'm going, like, dude, then don't talk shit. Like, don't talk shit about his physicality. Dude, if you can't put up with his physicality, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't have much love for Nicky Butt, to be honest with you. Like, I never thought of him as a United legend. I don't understand the hype. And I was there around those times. I remember him on the bench over and over and over again. I remember him putting a transfer request in because you couldn't get playing time. And, like, I don't understand how he has a platform to talk about. Look, Gary Neville played a lot of games for us. And I understand why he has a platform. I don't understand why Nicky, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why Nicky Butt has a platform. And I think he only does because he's Paul Scholes' friend.
But also, the thing about that too is they don't.
Sorry, go on, Ray.
The thing about the thing that they were talking about last week was that, oh, he was going to pocket him. That means they haven't really watched Martinez play against Holland.
Exactly. They don't even know what they're talking about. Right? Like, they don't even know what they're talking. There's no facts behind anything you're saying.
And then they double down today, and the comedian guy, whoever that guy is, I can't stand either, just goes, huh, you're welcome, Martinez. We got you riled up for this game. Because that means you have no idea what the game is then, right now.
Well, that's why I think we shouldn't take it seriously. Because I think that's the perspective I'm trying to show. Sorry to cut you off, Roberto. Is that I think the problem is that we, additionally with the traditional media and all those guys, they're giving these guys too much of a platform when we should just look at them and go, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know, like, I think that's what it is. Like, we should look at these guys and go and pity them and be like, oh, they were legends of the game and stuff, but they clearly don't understand the game. So when they say these things and spout these things, we should look at them like obviously they're legends of the game, but look at them the same way you look at your grandfather when he says some weird shit. You're like, oh, that's all right. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
It actually blows me away how, like, great players cannot understand the game. Like, it blows my mind. I don't get it.
It's the same way people can work a job for 40 years and still be inept at it, man. You know, but, you don't understand it, you just do it.
But I think this is like intentional, like, stupidity. I don't think this is. They look at this and go,
"This is clickbait."
Yeah, this is clickbait. I agree. This is definitely clickbait, because when you look at the reason, Scholes took it on the chin and said, "Trigger and T," or tea with sugar, sorry, which was his way of saying, yeah, I'll come to your house, whatever, jokingly. Basically, bar banter. Nicky Butt is the idiot who went in. And Nicky, I agree with you, Simix. If he's not a legend, John O'Shea's more of a legend than he is. And a bunch of other role players, a bunch of other utilitarians that we use, Ji-Sung Park, so on and so forth. So when you look at Nicky, I just think he felt like his mate was being attacked, and so he wants to attack. But I really think they know what they're doing. Like, let's be honest, they definitely know. These guys on Sky Sports failed. Go down the list to ITV or whatever, fail, and then they do a YouTube channel. That's what happened. And that, for me, this is yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say what proves your point is the fact that they doubled down.
Correct.
The fact that they just kept it going because they saw the reaction they got from they saw that reaction.
Though. Like it's our fault. Yeah. Like I refuse to listen to that podcast, give it a view. I see what I see through like X posts. You know what I mean? When people post little clips, which doesn't give them a view at all, doesn't give them anything. And that's the way I go about it. I'm not watching their podcast. I don't want to be in any way, shape, or form contributing to their numbers going up. Because it's BS content. It's literally BS content.
And this is not BS content. This
so hit
is
the like button if you haven't.
Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't. And if you don't know who else to follow, some Meeks as well. But boys, thank you. I think we're at an hour 15 or whatever. This was a fun conversation. I know I had one more question, but you know what? Maybe we'll ask it another time. But yeah, everyone, Samix, Nelson, Roberto, Hoff, Ray, thanks for coming on and